Welcome, dreamers and night owls, to Sleepy Storyteller, the place where soothing tales whisk you away to worlds of wonder, wisdom, and warmth. Tonight we invite you to settle in, get cozy, and journey with us into a quiet mountain range where an old bear named Otho searches the night sky for something long lost. This is the bear who counted stars, a story of reflection, peace, and learning to embrace the present moment. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the stars guide you into a peaceful slumber. In the heart of a quiet mountain range where the pine trees whispered secrets to the wind and the rivers hummed their endless lullabies, lived a bear named Otho. He was an old bear, his fur thick and silvered at the edges, his eyes deep pools of time itself. For as long as he could remember, he had counted the stars. Every evening after the sun dipped behind the jagged peaks, painting the sky in hues of gold and violet, Otho would climb to his favorite spot on a smooth, flat boulder that overlooked the valley. From there, he would wait for darkness to unfurl its vast velvety curtain, revealing the celestial wonders above. Then, with slow, measured breaths, he would begin to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. The stars blinked into existence like fireflies caught in the stillness of night. Otho would trace familiar constellations with his claw, murmuring their names under his breath: the great salmon, the sleeping owl, the winding river. But he was searching for something more than shapes in the sky. He was searching for the past. As a cub, Otho had lain beside his mother, nestled in the warmth of her fur as she pointed out the constellations to him. "The sky never changes, Otho," she had whispered. "It is always here, always watching over us. No matter where you go, these stars will be the same. They will guide you home. Otho, Vo. The sky never changes, Otho. It is always here, always watching over us. No matter where you go, these stars will be the same. They will guide you home." But as the seasons passed and Otho grew older, the stars began to look different. The constellations shifted, or perhaps his eyes no longer saw them the way they once had. The sky seemed unfamiliar, and with it, the sense of certainty he had once carried in his heart began to fade. If he could only find the exact same stars his mother had shown him, perhaps he could reclaim the feeling of being young, safe, and whole. Night after night he counted, his breath forming small clouds in the crisp mountain air. And night after night he felt something slipping further away, just beyond his reach. One evening, as Otho sat atop his boulder, lost in his ritual of counting, a tiny flicker of light bobbed toward him. At first he thought it was a stray ember from a distant campfire, but as it drew closer, he saw that it was a firefly, a particularly bright one, glowing with a steady golden light. The firefly hovered near Otho's nose, its small wings a blur. "Why do you look so troubled, great bear?" it asked in a voice as soft as a breeze through the reeds. Otho blinked at the tiny creature. "Otho, I am counting the stars," he rumbled. "Otho, I am searching for the constellations of my youth. If I find them, I will feel like the cub I once was." The firefly was silent for a moment, its tiny glow pulsing gently. Then, with a laugh like the chime of a distant bell, it said, "Firefly, oh dear bear, you search for the past in the sky, but the stars have never stopped shining. It is your gaze that has changed." Otho frowned, his great brow furrowing like the ridges of the mountain. Otho, what do you mean? You are looking for the past in a place that only offers the present, the firefly explained. The stars have always been there, just as they are now. It is not they who have changed, but you who have grown. Your eyes seek what was instead of what is. Otho sat in silence, his massive paws resting on the cool stone. He let the firefly's words settle in his mind like leaves drifting onto a still pond. For years he had strained to see the sky as it had once been, measuring each star against the memory of another time. But had he ever truly looked at it as it was, in this moment? He lifted his eyes again. The stars shimmered overhead, scattered like diamonds across the dark expanse. He let go of the old constellations, the ones he had been chasing, and simply allowed himself to see what was there. The sky was no less beautiful than it had been in his youth. Perhaps in some ways it was even more so. The firefly flickered warmly. The present is a gift, Otho. Do not waste it searching for what cannot be held. Otho exhaled a long, slow breath. The tightness in his chest, the quiet ache he had carried for so long, began to ease. He settled onto his boulder, stretching out with a sigh, and gazed at the stars, not as they once were, but as they were now, brilliant and alive. For the first time in years he did not count, he did not measure, he did not seek. He simply watched, and in doing so he found peace. As the firefly drifted away, Otho felt his eyes grow heavy. The night wrapped around him like a gentle embrace, and he surrendered to sleep, lighter than he had ever been. And above him the stars continued to shine, just as they always had, just as they always would, waiting to be seen anew. When morning arrived, Otho awoke feeling strangely refreshed. The dawn light filtered through the trees, casting golden streams across the valley. He stretched, feeling a lightness in his limbs that had been absent for years. The firefly's words still echoed in his mind, and for the first time in a long while he felt no urge to climb the boulder and count the stars again that night. Instead, he wandered down to the river, watching the way the water moved effortlessly over the stones. He noticed the way the sunlight danced on the ripples, casting shimmering patterns across the smooth rocks beneath the surface. The air carried the fresh scent of pine and damp earth, and the rhythmic sound of the current soothed him in a way he had never noticed before. He saw birds darting between branches, chirping their morning songs, their melodies weaving into the gentle babble of the water. A family of deer drank from the far side of the river, their slender forms reflected in the glassy surface. Even the wind, rustling through the reeds, seemed to hum a peaceful tune. Otho sat by the river for a long time, simply watching, simply being. He had spent so many nights looking up that he had forgotten to look around. The world was alive with movement, with sound, with beauty, and he was a part of it. From that day forward, Otho still visited his boulder, but he no longer counted the stars. He still walked to the river, but not to seek anything, only to be present. The sky, the water, the earth, they had always been there, waiting for him to see them as they were. And for the rest of his days, the stars never felt far away again. Thank you for listening to Sleepy Storyteller. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new bedtime tale. Sweet dreams, and until next time, may your nights be peaceful and your dreams filled with wonder. Good night.